Hey, it's Josh Vergara from Android Authority. What's going on, everybody? And as you can see behind us, with this ladder right here that seems completely out of place, E3 is coming to a close. And if our experience at pretty much any other trade show is any indication, they're really quick at tearing it down. So what was once a wonderful spectacle behind us in other videos, recaps and whatnot, what once was a spectacle is now going to become just the LA Convention Center. So, and as always, it's our time to sort of just kind of think back and reminisce a little bit and talk about what the experience was of E3. This was our first one. And I think a good place to start is for me to tell you guys that we're going to have a full podcast. That's actually what we're doing right now. But the first 5 to maybe 7 minutes of this podcast is being recorded, and it's your final recap video on the YouTube channel. But if you want to hear even more of us elaborating on how we felt about E3, make sure you tune into the FDP this week and listen to Android Authority's podcast so that you can get even more about our experiences at E3. That being said, Andrew Grushy and Lon over here on my left. Quick thoughts on E3.
A lot of VR.
We have a full VR video.
Yeah, we did
coming out too. So that there's
a lot of waiting in line to play games, but totally worth it.
Absolutely, yeah. It was since I was really young. This has been like I'm sure all of us, to an extent, have been. This has been a big dream for me when I was a kid, and it's been amazing to be here. Yes, the mobile space is still new. I mean, it's still growing. It's still small here, but just following coverage from past years to now, it's amazing how much it's brought up, and it's grown a lot.
Yeah.
And the same thing for VR. VR had very little presence last year compared to this year, which we talk about, more thoroughly in other videos. But I enjoyed everything. Nintendo, which we could go into a little more depth a little later.
Well, actually, I want to hear you talk a little bit about your Nintendo experience.
Sure.
Recap, actually. Because
okay.
we're not doing a Day
Awesome.
2 recap. This is actually kind of our final one. We're just going to lump Day 2 and 3 together.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Day 2 was mostly VR for these guys. I was with him, and we did a couple of the VR accessories, I should say. But then after that, I got to Periscope and film this guy just going nuts in the Nintendo booth.
Yeah, I am an admitted Nintendo. I'm actually all gaming fanboy, but Nintendo has a special place in my heart. And especially nostalgic stuff. So I checked out a couple things, but the biggest thing that really made an impression on me was Mario Maker, which is basically Little Big Planet, but with Mario. It goes through. You have basically different worlds, and you have Super Mario Brothers. You have Super Mario 3. You have Super Mario World, and then you have the newest one, which is Super Mario Brothers Wii U. And basically, you make levels, and you can play levels that people make, and you can do them in any of those styles that I mentioned. And so you can switch back and forth between the Mario 3 style. And what's really cool about it is it breaks conventions. If you ever played these old school Mario games, you can jump on a block, and out pops a Goomba instead of a mushroom, for example, or another bad guy. And
you can dress up as Link.
Oh yeah, there's even special there are special levels that Nintendo made specifically. We have special power-ups where you can become different characters. In fact, Nintendo has this thing called Amiibos, or I believe it's called Amiibos. And what it is just a toy type thing you put on the Wii U, and it scans it in. Well, they're going to be using that to allow you to put skins on your Mario character in this game to become different. Nintendo, doesn't do anything in reality when it comes to functionality, but it's still kind of cool, especially if you're really into certain characters like Samus and the others. But yeah, it was great. I also finally I did get a little bit of time with Star Fox, and that was pretty cool too.
Okay. Well, we'll go more in depth with that with our podcast. So stay tuned to the FTP for even more of, and you can just see just how enthusiastic Rushy was talking about Nintendo in particular. I want to pass it over to Lon for this final recap. Now today we did do more VR with the Oculus Rift in the morning. But while I was taking care of YouTube gaming, we decided to split up to get double time done. You were able to head over to Madfinger and play a game that is really close to being released. I think it's within the next couple weeks, if I'm not mistaken.
They said about a month.
Oh, about a month still? Okay. Because
Yeah,
Madfinger for Unkilled?
Yeah,
Unkilled.
So it's coming out this summer, and Unkilled is the title, but it's essentially, if you played Dead Trigger or Dead Trigger 2, this is essentially sort of a rehash. I hate to say that, but it's kind of a rehash of those games. It's the same concept. You're in a post-apocalyptic world, and you're basically going around with a bunch of weapons and fighting off zombies to try and complete different missions. Very similar missions to the ones that you would find in Dead Trigger. And there's a lot of different things that you can do. They added a few new things to the game where you can actually kick the zombies, and you can also shoot missiles at them. You actually have a perk that actually shoots these missiles, and it'll actually auto-regenerate, so you never run out of them. And basically you use that whenever you're in a big area that you're just completely bombarded with zombies. That's where you use those type of perks. So it's they've added a few nifty different things, so it's a little bit cooler than Dead Trigger, and graphically it does look a lot better as well. But it'll be very familiar for many people who have played Mad Finger games before.
Yeah.
So it was a really cool game, and obviously it's a free game, and then you're going to have the in-app purchases as well. And on top of that, there's tons of different missions. I believe it's over 300 missions and a bunch of different weapons, like 50 or 60 different weapons that you can use. So there's a lot of things that you can do in this game, but it's a really fun game, a good time waster. And if you love, zombie type games, this is going to be a really good game to check out this summer.
So yeah, while he was checking that out, I was over at YouTube Gaming. Now, Android Authority has been toying with the idea of creating some sort of a streaming channel already, and I think YouTube Gaming.
I think it kicked off this week. I think
it could be. Oh, Joe could be. Yeah, it's very close. But YouTube Gaming probably came at the exact perfect time, not only for Android Authority, but also for me. I have been wanting to get into console streaming for quite a while. What better incentive to play your video games than to share it and potentially, you never know, you might get paid a little bit for it. But YouTube Gaming has what I think YouTube Gaming does really well is it consolidates all of the YouTube content for a particular game. There's a search bar at the top, and when you put in the name of a game, boom, you have everything. You have not only what has been really good over the last week or the last month or forever, you also have a section there where you can just swipe over, and it's all of the Let's Plays in playlist form, so perfectly annotated and everything, perfectly put together, and easy for you to use. And then of course there's a section just for reviews. And then on the main page you have a bunch of feeds. If you follow certain games and you star certain games, then it will give you feeds of live feeds that are happening right now. I think YouTube Gaming is pretty great, and we're going to get into even more of that. But it sounds like you guys, we sound tired because we've been working, but I think all in all we had a really good time. I mean, we got to play Star Wars Battlefront, for God's sake, and it was so awesome.
I am a little jealous. I had some other things I had to do.
Well,
getting things ready.
We're going to talk about it even more, and you're noticing that I didn't cut away from there because there's no footage for us to show of Star Wars Battlefront because we couldn't take any. You might have a couple pictures of us selfie photos with R2-D2, but that's about it. But yeah, I'm guessing Grushy had a great time. I mean, you were getting elated on your Nintendo stuff.
Oh yeah, well, there's some things that I wish I could have seen, which we'll talk about in the podcast.
Yeah,
but,
and also
it's just really difficult.